Warning. The following podcast contains excessive amounts of dumb jokes, subpar criticism, overly deep reads, and casual use of the fuck word and other fun expletives. Listener discretion is advised.
The demon queen of high school has decreed it. She says Monday 8 a.m. I will be deleted. They'll hunt me down in study hall, stuff and mount me on the wall. 30 hours to live, how shall I spend them? I don't have to stay and die like cattle. I could change my name and ride up to Seattle. But I don't own a motorbike. Wait, here's an option that I like. Spend these 30 hours getting free. Yeah, I need it hard. I'm a dead girl walking.
Hey, party people! What are we watching tonight, Gunther?
No, fuck you. Whatever, okay.
Hi, I'm Jackson.
I'm Sam.
I'm Jake.
And I'm Rachel.
All right. We watched Heathers, the 1989 dark comedy starring Winona Ryder and Christian Slater, among other people.
Is that how you say her name?
Winona.
Winona?
Yeah.
I would say Winona. Like Winona.
Tomato, tomato.
I think it's almost
Hey.
It's a quote.
That's a quote.
It's a very quotable movie. I like this movie a
it
lot.
So, hey, who's got nerd facts?
Me,
this
I
time?
have nerd facts.
Excellent. Cool.
All right.
Sam, tell us about this movie that you brought.
This movie that I brought was written by Daniel Water and Michael Lehman. It was their directorial and their first attempt at script writing for both of them. This was like their first feature.
Wow.
By the way.
I wish.
I'm pretty sure it's Daniel Water and
Michael Lehman?
Michael Lerman.
Lerman?
Lerman?
I said it right, and then you questioned me.
Michael Lerman?
Yeah.
Anyways, David Water, he's the writer on this, right?
Daniel Water.
Daniel Water.
Yeah.
Daniel Water he also wrote hit classic Batman
Returns.
Yeah, Batman Returns.
And also importantly, Demolition Man.
And Hudson Hawk.
Yes, I have all that written down. Honestly, actually, Michael Lehman also worked on Hudson Hawk. They worked together on that one too.
Yeah, they did because it was the same writer and director as this.
Yep.
You know what?
Hudson
I can definitely see that. And
Hudson Hawk is in the cinematic universe of Heathers.
Because that's the rule. Once you write it, it's all connected.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of. That's, yeah, I can see that a guy got to do a Batman movie after this, but I'll come back to that thought line here in a little bit.
Mm-hmm. All right, so it won the Independent Spirit Award for Best First Feature, because this was their first film. This was their film debut. And it also won the Edgar Award for Best Motion Picture Screenplay of the year 1989. By Edgar Award, this is the Edgar Allan Poe Awards that they do for Best Screenplays, TV, and movie and whatnot. Moving on to other important facts, it had a budget of $3 million.
Yes.
You want to guess what it made?
Right. I'm gonna guess
10 million.
God, did this movie lose money?
No.
There's no way it lost money.
Money back.
15 million?
It made $1.1 million.
I did lose money, damn it.
It was a
lost
box
money.
office flop.
I thought it lost money.
Yep.
But I guess
It's hard to flop on $3 million, y'all.
I mean, this was like rated R, definitely, right?
Well, yeah, but also 1989 R.
They drop at least like 5 goddams in this thing.
There were some things that came into play. One of it was New World Pictures, which was the distributor for this particular movie, was going bankrupt the time it went into theaters immediately.
Yeah, that seems...
So their producer, Denise DeNovo, had to actually pay for the ad in the LA Times herself. So that's $1,800 out of her own pocket back in 1989.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
I have an inflation calculator. I'm going to look up how much money that is, because that's like an obscene amount of money.
She was the producer. Yeah. No, it flopped in the theaters. However, weirdly enough, the critics loved it.
Yeah.
They adored this movie. And as soon as it went to VHS...
It's just about double what it is to double
Still.
what it was then. It's still a lot of money.
It's still a lot of money. No,
it's a lot of goddamn money.
As soon as it went to VHS, it became a cult classic. It just, for some reason, did poorly in theaters.
A lot of movies like that as soon as it hits VHS. Well, people love it.
Where was I going with this? If they were having that much production trouble, if they were having that much money issues, they probably just didn't have the advertising blitz that they needed to for a movie like this.
That's what I'm banking on.
Yeah,
I mean,
well, hold on. This movie came out, I don't know,
1989.
1989. Okay.
89.
It's also like a weird pitch too, like without the proper advertising
Well,
for that time period.
here's the thing. They build it as a teen classic, and this is right after the John Hughes bump. Like, all of those
Yeah.
movies are coming out prior to this. All the Breakfast Clubs, all the 16
Wow.
Candles. This was written in response to that. Interesting enough, Daniel Water was writing this while he was working in a video store.
yeah,
Yep.
I can see that.
hmm
I can definitely see that.
It was actually written as a spec script for Stanley Kubrick, because he loved Dr. Strangelove so much. He was like, what would be great is if Stanley Kubrick did a teen film.
Wow. Yeah, this is, you know what? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know when you are tasting something
Mhm.
and you don't know what it is, but then someone says, oh yeah, and I put a little bit of, I don't know, like a little extra cinnamon in this. And you're like, oh,
That's
that
it.
is cinnamon
was
that I'm
it. Yeah, a
tasting.
little nutmeg.
Yes, this is Dr. Strangelove that I'm tasting in here. There is a lot of that.
Mhm.
Like, just extreme absurdism in the face of dark comedy, I guess. Because, like, there's a lot of absurdity in this movie.
Quite a bit.
Yeah, and I like it. I like that about it.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
But yeah, that is. I can see that. I can definitely see the influence there.
I just want to point out that while it was not the same weekend as it was the same month that things like Rain Man and Bill and Ted were still in theaters.
That's a lot to compete with.
Oh,
Yeah.
buddy,
That's
you're
rough to
not doing
contend
well
with.
against that.
Bill and Ted's hard to
Lean
fight
on
with.
Me, which was
Oh, buddy, that was another pretty
Wow.
big movie. Yeah,
Yeah.
all right, yeah.
It's a rough time to come in.
That's real. That's
But
a
it
horrible
has-
time to come in.
The staying power, which is so good.
it does.
It does.
hmm
Yeah. No. And I know this because I walk in on the regular to because I live with Sam, but this also got moved into a musical. It was a musical second, right?
In 2014, it
Okay.
got written as an off-Broadway production, which then moved on to actual Broadway, if I'm not mistaken. And then in 2018, it made it far enough on Broadway that it became a West End production, both off West End and on West End. So it's had some love in the most recent years. It's
Yeah.
had some reboot potential.
That was my first exposure to
Mhm.
this in general, was the musical that I saw a bunch of whatever those animated
The Broadway,
animatics?
the West End.
Animatics. Yeah.
The animatics are
So-
mostly for the off-Broadway one.
Yeah, they
Mhm.
on Broadway, and I really want to see the musical of this. 'cause
I've-
it seems
Oh,
very
gosh,
good.
I
Only watched lots of bootleg copies because I can't get a hold of it otherwise. But honestly, we could talk about that later.
Mm.
I love almost every version of this particular story, but they are all different animals. There's one
Yeah.
version that I haven't had time to access yet, and I'm not sure I want to because it has been critically panned. But that's the thing we'll talk about later.
So
Okay.
we can have to talk about why
What?
the movie is good to fully explain why
I-
the reboot is bad.
I am curious about something.
Mhm.
Jake, you're the only one who hadn't seen this movie before or had no prior knowledge to it.
hmm My
What-
prior knowledge was I knew the two main stars,
Yeah.
and I was told by 5 people who are not my co-hosts that I would love this movie.
Were we right?
What?
I refuse to speak on that until
Damn it.
our
I'm
questions
more
at the
curious
end.
about what were you expecting the course of the movie?
Yeah, how'd they pitch it to you?
How did they pitch it? How
I literally said I hadn't seen it, and they just said you're gonna love it. I just got the bomb
I'm
of
glad everyone
over
kept
and
it from
over
you.
of like
I'm so glad.
just, oh man, that movie's great. You're gonna love it. I got one that was, oh, you're gonna love it. That was kind of just laughing. It's such a, and it was like sold to me as like kind of a weird movie, but you'll love it.
Mhm.
And I agree with that statement. That was
Yeah.
what I was sold, and it is, you know what? Kind of a bit of a weird movie. I was sold it as a period piece
Which is fair.
yeah.
by someone else. But that's it. I got very little, like, to the
Good.
point where I
That's
didn't really
excellent.
know well, I knew what I was getting into,
Yeah.
kind of, because it's like, you know,
A
high
little
school
pervasive.
movie.
But yeah.
It's a high school movie.
You can tell it isn't.
No, it's
Throughout the whole thing.
it's a high
but
school
it-
movie.
But I would say it takes
It's a hard
shift.
derail.
Yeah.
No, because I also watched it for the first time with like zero information because I was just having a bad day and Sam told me like 4 or 5 years ago, like, hey, watch this. She didn't tell me what it was about.
Mhm.
And I remember the moment I had like the harsh turn where I was like, Yeah, because when he first, when our main love interest JD's introduced, I'm like, yeah, no, he's kind of creepy. I don't know, but maybe in the time period. And then as soon as he pulls out the Drano, I went, this is not the movie I thought I was signing up for.
Wait, hold on. The Drano was your moment, not the gun?
Oh, yeah, the gun was weird. The gun was weird, but at that point I was like, maybe it's a weird 80s thing. Because, I don't know. But the Drano, the official double down, I'm going to murder
Did we
her.
all go into this movie blind? Because when I watched it, it was doing one of my weekend binge-a-thons where I'll just pick a random movie and watch it with no prior knowledge whatsoever. Whatever may happen, may happen. And Heather's is one of the few movies that I have ever watched all the way through, finished it, the credits rolled, and I went, hold on. I need to do that again. And I watched it immediately, one more time.
That's fair. I can see why.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think from the sound of it, everyone went into this the first time pretty.
Did you have any warning?
Huh?
Did you have any warning going into this movie the first time?
Yes.
Hold on. I just thought of the reason you had warning because.
Why?
Did
What do you
you-
think? Because I don't think
did
it's
you-
the same reason that.
But you just said you watched some of the
Animaniacs. Bump.
I mean, I have watched some of that too. But,
that's classic too. But no, you watched some of the animations
well, yeah, the
of the
whole
Broadway.
Why do you think? I'm actually curious about that.
So this is a very. Go with me on this.
Okay.
It's going to require some outside knowledge about our family. This is a very Whitney movie.
It is a very Whitney movie. No, surprisingly, no.
Okay,
Shout
all
out
right,
to
cool.
Whitney.
Yeah.
No, the way I was exposed to this movie is one of my friends sent me an animatic of it,
Mm-hmm.
having no idea what this thing was. And I was like, that's really cool. I really like that song. What's
Mhm.
this from? And then she proceeded to explain the entire plot of Heathers to me.
So good.
Yeah. And,
I've been
and
that
then,
person.
And then later watched the movie.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
That's
all
fair.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
After
good time.
realizing I couldn't watch the Broadway musical.
There are definitely not bootlegs on
you
YouTube that are
should look that
available.
up.
Hey man, after the end times are done,
They're definitely not
go
labeled.
around.
They're definitely not labeled Heather Slime Tutorial or anything like that.
Never
It's-
look up a Broadway thing plus slime.
Never.
You'll never find anything.
Nothing's there.
Don't do that.
Mm-mm.
The elitist Broadway snobs should just have easy to access recordings of musicals because art should be easy to access.
Praise be.
Anyway, with that aside done.
Okay.
So
do
what
you want
else we got?
Okay. You
You
guys
said
are.
that you had notes.
I
Before this,
had-
you said that you had notes.
Okay, so I did come in. It's 2 pages worth of random nerd facts
Well,
that were
talk about
interesting
it.
to me. That we maybe we need to get in before the movie. I'm not sure.
No, let's go. Let's go. Let's
Okay, interesting to me was I didn't realize how young all of our stars were when they were in this movie.
go.
Winona turned 16 during the filming of this movie.
Wow.
Yeah, they're actual teenagers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's see. Kim
What a
Walker.
rarity.
Yeah.
Kim Walker, who was Heather Chandler, Red Heather.
Yeah.
She was 18 at the time and dating Christian Slater, who was 19.
Okay.
The oldest of the crew that we were dealing with was Lisanne Falk, who was 23, who was Heather McNamara, Yellow Heather. Shannon Doherty
Okay.
was 16 during the filming of 2. That was Green Heather, Heather Duke.
Yeah.
But they were all babies.
Wow. That's
That's unheard of.
good on them. They got
Mhm.
good performances out of
Yeah,
them.
they did.
But no,
Well,
that
not
was a
a
big
writer,
thing.
especially for how young she was.
I know. She
I
actually had to
mean-
beg to be in this movie.
She killed it.
This was post Beetlejuice.
Okay.
And she got the script. I was watching an interview today where she was talking about the script. She
Yeah.
had just had someone that she went to high school with had died, had committed suicide, the way she
Yeah.
talks about it. And the way she talks in the interview was this individual died. And suddenly the whole school gave a shit.
Yeah.
And the way she talks in the interview, it's very much no one gave a shit about this girl prior to that. She was
Mhm.
just some random goth. No one gave 2 shits. And then suddenly she was, a wonderful angel that everyone missed and totally understood. And then she got this script and went, I have to do this. Her agent got on her knees and begged Winona not to do it. Please
Yeah.
don't do this movie. It'll kill your career. But full on, Winona was like,
Joke's
you
on that
have to let
agent."
me in this movie. Like going to the director and the writer, going, I have to be in this movie. And they are quoted happily in front of Winona saying, we didn't think you were pretty enough initially.
Mhm.
So Winona went and got a makeover and then came back. Let me in this movie. I am not
Wow.
Lydia from Beetlejuice. Let me do this, please. It has to be mine.
Good on her.
She was one of the first ones locked in for the script. After that was
Yeah.
Christian Slater, I do believe, who apparently did his audition, immediately went outside, threw a tantrum because he thought he bombed his audition, and then moved on with his life.
That's relatable.
I feel that.
But no, that's some random fun stuff.
Yeah,
That's
I'm gonna
super cool.
jump off that real quick. I really like because it does lean into absurdism and stuff, and taking everything to a certain extreme. I really love the commentary regarding that, where it is she's when the hippie teacher finally gets her big thing, all the cameras come in and suddenly everyone knows the kid. I thought it was very accurate to what actually.
Yeah, it's extremely accurate. We've all been to high school.
Yeah. Yeah, it's extremely accurate, and it's always also too it's all these people that had no idea who they were and almost never talked to the actual friends a lot at the time too. But it's it's nice. It's a good lambasting of that. Is that the correct word?
Lampooning?
Thank you.
There we go. But no, it's a very not subtle film in a lot of ways.
God, no. Subtlety of a sledgehammer. But sometimes it's a good thing.
We discussed this in Jacob's Ladder. Sometimes it works.
It does.
Sometimes you don't need a scalpel all the time. Sometimes you need the big knife.
Yeah.
And this movie is the big knife.
Also, it just has a lot of really funny moments in general.
Oh yeah, I agree with that.
A lot of good quips.
The dialogue is so important in this movie, and you saying it's a period piece is actually pretty interesting because in a lot of my research about this film, when they're talking to the director and the writer, they wanted to make sure the lingo and the slang used in this film was specific to the film itself.
Yeah.
They did 80s inspired slang, but they tried not to use anything that was pretty standard for 80s teens. They weren't trying to listen to what 80s teens were doing and do that.
Yeah.
They sort of invented their own lingo for this movie in hopes that it would keep it from feeling too dated.
So I respect the hell out of that. I respect the hell out of it. That's super cool. Woo, buddy, they failed. Woo, buddy. I respect the gumption. God, ambition. To quote Jeremy Clarkson from Top Gear, that's a bit ambitious and a bit rubbish.
Didn't quite work.
It didn't quite work. But that being said, it being an 80s period piece does not hurt the
feels like
core
80s,
message of the movie. That's not a bad thing.
And I still like that it's not the tip what the 80s slang was. I think that makes it even better because it adds to that dissonance where it's I don't know if that was a phrase that's ever said, but gee whiz, I hope it is now.
A lot of it did end up being 80s slang, Yeah. But how very is not. It's not a standard issue. Fuck me gently with a chainsaw. What am I, Mother Teresa? However, is top notch.
Yeah, that's really good. There's a lot of great clips, man.
Yeah.
I think that might be all of my No, I have one other pre-note that I found out today in my deep dive.
Sure.
So a lot of people give this movie credit for being the first of its genre, the first of its version of this particular kind of story. That being said, other people have noted this is actually a lot like Massacre at Central High, which I have not seen, but in reading the plot, it is sort of a high school revenge fantasy where their murders take place that are staged to look like accidents/suicides. And then there's definitely a fight in a boiler room at the end of the movie about keeping someone for setting off a bomb.
I'm going to say this, even though I think it was exactly 1 year later. I might have my date wrong on that. No, that's not true. That movie came out in 2000. 10 years later, just about. This movie reminded me a whole lot of American Psycho. I don't know how many... I don't think
I have.
Rachel, you haven't seen it, have you?
I actually have not.
Sam?
Nope.
Okay.
Which is it's right up my alley.
Gave me big American Psycho vibes because a lot of crazy shit is happening around this one centrally crazy person, and the whole world around them is kind of
Yeah,
they just don't seem to.
Yeah, I can see that.
Seem to really
They don't seem bothered by it.
Yeah, they don't. Nothing that these people do is too much. It's just life moves on. I'm worried. I'm worried about my own thing.
Well, I mean, that's kind of just the commentary, right? That both of these movies are making is because that's how people handle things. Yeah, that's just how it goes. Look at the news every day, man. Yeah, world's on fire constantly. Yeah, but if you think about that, then you're gonna go crazy. Yeah, so you just keep moving on, even if the crazy shit's happening right next to you. Oh, because what's the point? You can't stop it. You can't stop this crazy teenager with a gun. Why would you even try? You have work to go to. Anyways,
point being, this movie reminds me a lot of American Psycho.
Yeah,
weird connection.
I get it though.
Yeah,
I get where you're coming from.
No, but it did do wonders for the teen high school drama.
Yeah.
Every movie after the fact is a little bit Heathers when they're trying to
A
be
little bit,
edgy.
yeah.
I don't think there were too many super edgy ones prior that weren't sort of 70s horror.
Yeah, I was about to say, do you count Carrie? Because different, but
yeah, I feel like that's a different animal.
I feel like one, because that is supernatural.
yeah,
I think it's played a little bit differently, but that's Stephen King, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think Stephen King is the one who has the other hold on the awful high school, awful children.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
He did. It had already come, like the TV series had already come out. But
It
Mhm.
and Carrie are the only two off the top of my head that are specifically deal with like high school age or younger.
I think he's got other ones with children.
he has
but-
another one with children. I mean, Stand
Dude,
By
he's
Me.
got, like,
Mhm.
50
Oh, I forgot about.
books.
Yeah.
forgot
Literally
that
a
was
movie
him.
that it was going up against this one.
No,
Box
that's
office.
Lean on Me.
Oh, lean
Yeah.
on me. Damn it.
Yeah.
Uh,
Stand By Me came out. I think before.
Is it 84?
Probably earlier because Kiefer Sutherland's in it and he's real
Yeah.
young in it.
Yeah, I'm almost positive before. I mean, look, this is not relevant, but it is relevant to me.
It's interesting to me. I think it's supposed to be pre-notes. Everything else is about
86.
spin-offs.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
we should probably talk about spin-offs after the actual movie itself.
yeah, Jake, this is your first time watching it. You want to start? Any notes?
Sure. I'll let me actually open up my book here, my tome.
Mm-hmm.
Give us some good
Flipping some
flipping some
pages.
pages.
Just pull out the notes for the Wiki Wild Wild West. Just
Hey,
There we
that
go.
one.
Ding.
So like,
It's in
yeah,
there.
I do have questions in Heather's regarding the character of
Of Will Smith?
Will Smith.
Yes.
It's weird how he shows up in every movie we review.
Dear Diary.
Yeah. Actually, did you write out your notes like that?
No, I didn't.
Where's your monocle, Jake? Did you put your monocle on while you were writing these notes?
I don't.
That is
I wish I had a
I
monocle.
love
favorite little
that.
detail.
Yeah, it's because it's never noted. It's never like actively been like, oh yes, this is my monocle. It's just like, oh yes.
This is what she does, though.
Yeah, it's just what she does. There's no reason given for it. It's
Mhm.
just what she be doing.
Mhm.
I found it. It's because it's not actually on the right page because I'm a moron.
Mm.
Yeah, most of mine are just on like lines that I liked.
Mhm.
Christian Slater's character,
JD.
JD. Okay. So JD dropping the line, yeah, I don't really like your friends either, is really
Strong.
strong.
Yeah.
The first time that she admits to wanting to kill Red Heather is really good. Just the I want to kill. It's like, oh man, hey, I feel that. That's good.
Yeah.
Before you keep going in your notes, can we talk about how good Christian Slater is as a huge creepo?
Yeah, I'd love to talk
That is
about
so
that.
good.
Mhm.
He's
The way
awesome.
he delivers his lines in this movie is just they're a little,
Yeah.
they're just a little off each,
Yeah, and
each thing he says.
He's very good at being so nonchalant about it. Like when he's pouring the Drano and she's like, oh, that's a joke. And he's just so nonchalant. He's like, yeah, no, I'm going to kill her with Drano. This is just,
Yeah.
typical Tuesday activities.
In interviews, he was trying really hard to channel Jack Nicholson. Is that
Yes.
that taste?
Oh, buddy,
There
do
we
we?
go.
Okay, we're really deep in the tank here. All right, so I was gonna say something,
Mhm.
and I thought I was maybe a little crazy, but now I realize that my craziness has a path that makes it perfect. Hey guys, Jack, Rachel, Sam, you've all seen the movie The Dark Knight, correct?
Yes.
Because I'm getting ready to make another jump, much like Jackson's thing. Hey, does he remind anyone else of? I got some Heath Ledger's Joker vibes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, yeah.
very much,
Which
and
makes sense.
It's like oh
You can follow the through line.
yeah,
Yep.
Like the
it's
way
like
he's always kind of bent and the way he emotes.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
oh man, Heath Ledger I think may have taken some notes here and made a great performance out of a great performance.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
holy shit, he's really I never thought I'd say that because I don't normally like Christian Slater. But I never thought I'd say that, man, I kind of want Christian Slater to play the Joker now. Like, I kind of want to see
Yeah.
that. Because it's
like very, I just kind of going off that,
yeah, go for it.
the way he like holds his body at all points during this movie, it's not just the way he delivers the lines,
Mhm.
even when he is like quiet or like trying to be receptive, it's like very, like throughout the movie, it's very much like he is leaning over to the side when he is trying to convince someone. And he's like trying to make himself look smaller and more like, oh, what's going on? No. Kind of listen. Like he knows that he comes off weird and he's trying his best to minimize So, but as soon as the killing's on, he stands up completely straight. And I really liked that kind of detail as far as acting goes of like, he's thought it through. He knows how to placate people. He knows how to play him, and he knows how to make himself appear less of a threat for a bit.
Majorly manipulative the entire way through, and they're consistent with that version of him too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's just
an awful human being.
Yeah, but mostly everyone in this movie kind of is.
Which is also really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're awful.
Betty
piece
seemed
of shit.
legitimately sweet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you have at least three people who aren't awful pieces of shit.
Yeah.
So
I'm not saying everyone. Okay, let me back this up a little bit. I'm not
Most.
saying that everyone is an awful piece of shit in this movie. I am saying that our main characters are, for the most part, awful pieces of shit in their own special ways, of course.
But they let them all be human. Because even with Heather Chandler, and when we get to see her locker later on, we find pictures of her and Veronica happy and cheerful and just children. And you get to see them all be children.
She's not human. I mean, you've met that person in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like we all have.
But they allowed them to
has.
be complex in a way that I don't think a lot of, I hate to say modern films, but a lot of current teen dramas don't with their bitchy queen bee.
No.
Like, you have to work really hard by like season 3 to find out that your queen bee has like a heart of gold or something deep beneath.
It's not the
super deep.
No, I was gonna say it's not. What the fuck is her name? Regina George. It's not that situation.
Odd note about that in particular.
Hit us with
Daniel Water wrote this movie. Mark Water directed Mean Girls.
Well, there you go.
Mark Water's his brother.
Wow. They have shaped the lives of so many people.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Like, holy shit.
Yep.
It's pretty impressive.
They knew what they were doing.
100%.
Yeah. This movie is Mean Girls taken to like what if everyone was on cocaine.
What if everyone was a murderer?
Or Mean Girls is sanitized Heathers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Smooth Heathers.
Marketable Heathers.
Yeah, because Mean Girls absolutely made its money back.
Yes, it did.
Still is.
And it has, I forgot. This movie had an alternate ending that they were not allowed to do.
All right, what's the alternate ending?
So when they were initially pitching this movie to New World Pictures, they went, yeah, we love it. We'll finance it. But that ending, it's got to go. That's way too dark. In the initial ending, Veronica was outside on the steps she had a whole speech on the steps talking to JD. But the bomb goes off and the school blows up.
Yeah.
And then the ending of the movie is all of them in prom, in hell, with blue punch.
I love that.
Well, I wish
what a
they
good ending.
Not to say that I don't fucking love the ending of this film.
I was about to say, it's me, Mr. Studio Director. I kind of like the original ending more. I'm usually a fan of the wild and wacky, but this movie ends on such a nice note.
It's so strong. I love her standing on the steps with him having lit her cigarette and her full on, just saluting him off, I want cool guys like you out of my life. Yeah. Later, babe.
I love that her cigarette was lit by the explosion.
Yeah.
Of her dead boyfriend? Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
So strong.
What a fucking end of a relationship.
And if we'd gotten the prom ending, we wouldn't have got There's a New Sheriff in Town, which I do love.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
I like both endings. Mm-hmm. I think both are good.
I also side note, just talking about the original ending, with There's a New Sheriff in Town, I was real worried for 2 seconds. The first time I watched this, they're like, please don't tell me she's immediately going to be... And then no, it's immediate, hey, we should hang out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it was oh, good.
She had the scrunchie of power,
Scrunchie of power,
yeah. It was the crown. She got the crown in the end. She got to decide how to wield the power. She's in charge.
Yep.
I love it. So
and
good.
No one's going to fight her because she just lit her cigarette off the explosion of her boyfriend blowing up.
She has killed people.
Yeah, I wouldn't fuck her.
Actually, yeah, she has.
Yeah, she shot that guy.
Yep.
She definitely shot that
I was running through
dude.
it, yeah. There were 4 deaths in this movie and 2 attempted deaths.
Yeah.
Genuinely attempted deaths.
Okay, wait.
Heather Chandler dies.
Yeah, Heather Chandler dies.
Kurt and Ram die.
Who's the 4th?
JD. He blew up.
Yeah.
Big boom. And then we had the 2 attempted suicides.
Boyfriend.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But no. So what were we talking on last before I jumped in with my Mean Girls facts? We were doing Jack
Jake.
Nicholson. We were talking
Jack,
about
yeah.
I literally
Christian
was.
Slater.
Yeah,
He's
I
acting. Yeah.
we were just talking about him. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I guess we're talking about him. Do we want to talk about Winona Ryder too? We already talked about her a little bit,
She's
but
incredibly good.
yeah, she's really good. Like
Mhm.
big. I mean, she's really young in this, like you said, but
Mhm.
I do have to throw out the big disclaimer of big shock. Winona Ryder is a really, really good actress
She kills it.
Hot
At-
take.
at
Yeah.
every age, it seems.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's fantastic.
Yeah,
And
she's
I
really,
love-
really good.
the character of Veronica. I love how much power she had, which, again, we go back to this comparing this to other movies, which maybe isn't fair. I like that our leading lady decided what she wanted and she got it
Yeah.
basically every single time. And they didn't do the thing where she was waiting to be saved or had to be plucked from obscurity
No, she
per
doesn't
se.
fucking need that.
She doesn't. And also
No.
the way they pitched the movie, you're supposed to infer that the Heathers decided Veronica could hang and therefore she's part of the Heathers. But either way, she made it into the fold willingly. And
Yeah.
she decided that for herself as opposed to being tricked into it or something.
I do know, not to jump into the spin-offs, but I do know in the Broadway version
Mhm.
that they kind of do it differently, to where they start off as just it's her and Betty as friends.
They
and then
do.
She slowly gets inducted into the Heathers.
Because in the Broadway and the Western version, you get to see Veronica as just a smarty pants nerd in the slumpy, frumpy clothing kind of thing, and you get to see her get in with the Heathers, get to see her become powerful in that moment and choose to. Well, if I do this for you, you'll help me out.
Yeah.
And the Heathers go, you know what? Maybe we can find some use for you. You can hang, and you see her become one of the Heathers. True.
Yeah.
Um,
But with this movie, we start there.
we start there. So we
We're
don't,
already there.
Veronica's already decided what she is, and everyone accepts that. It's not like maybe we're testing Veronica's power. No,
Yeah.
she has it. She wields
Yeah, she's
it,
there.
but she wields it from the very beginning very competently.
Yeah.
Like she argues with Chandler, and Chandler listens,
Yeah.
which is amazing compared to the power structure present in the rest of the movie. Mhm.
Yeah.
I just like her a lot. She's really fun.
No, that's fair. She's
Mhm.
a great character. Like Veronica's rad.
Yeah.
I also love that they leaned into the fact that like she's definitely, especially for most of the movie, pretty awful too,
Mhm.
and very pretentious, and that's part of the reason I love that monocle. That every time she writes in her diary, she like puts the monocle on, and I love that they kind of leaned into that, and the fact that it was just kind of like an accepted thing. Like,
Nope, she's a smart girl who likes danger because she's also seen throughout the whole movie literally playing with fire and hurting
Yeah.
herself.
Yeah.
Playing with fire and getting burned constantly.
All the time.
Mm-hmm.
Side note, because the initial like playing with fire, I love that she lit that stein of like liquor or beer on fire and threw it out, caused a trash fire, and then they used that same trash fire to light the next scene
Yes.
as their main light source. How amazing.
It's so good. The Remington party is a really good moment where you get to see who Heather Chandler is outside of things.
Yeah.
Because you get to see her at her weakest and
Yeah,
decide
that's
how
true.
she's going to handle that. And she's going to handle that by hurting other people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I just have a lot of thoughts about Heathers. I'll stop talking.
No,
Jake?
no, this is good.
This is
This
what,
is exactly why we do this. Like I don't. This
Prepare for T2, because it's going to be a lot of this coming from another person.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't have as much to add as someone who is this into the movie. So like, feel anything else you want to add, like go for it. We can add on to it. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Those police officers.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, those guys
I
are
almost
great.
fell out of my chair.
The dumbest.
I knew it was coming, but
They're
I love it.
so
Sherwood, Ohio's finest.
they're so inept. I love it. The only two good cops.
Yeah.
I also love when he's like when JD's staging for the two football players
Mhm.
their death. The list of gay items he pulls out starts very like stud bunny.
Stud
Yeah.
puppy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Stud puppy. I'm
Mhm.
sorry, stud puppy. And then it just keeps like it's like a decorative dish.
Mm-hmm. Candy.
And then the mineral water,
Mhm.
I love that joke paid off later.
Yeah.
Where it's like, well, mineral water, come on. It's like, no, it's Sherwood, Ohio. It's absolutely gonna work. First thing he pulls out, oh my God.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's pretty obvious what we got here, ladies and gentlemen.
Smartest cops. I love the guy picking up the gun with a stick and then immediately grabbing it off the stick with his other hand.
Yeah, that's a lot of good.
So good.
That scene is full of really good visual gags, like that them constantly reusing the same
Tree.
like that Scooby Doo ass like running through the forest scene.
And jumping out. Aha!
Yeah, it's really good. It's really
shot him at any moment.
Yeah.
He had to
Just
keep
like
it
too.
staged properly. Otherwise, you have to drag the body back.
That's whatever.
No, he's got a master plan.
Yeah.
This kid's thinking 2 steps ahead. Only 2, but 2 steps ahead.
Yeah. Yes, you're not wrong.
Mhm.
Also, he's not going to let a little thing like a fleeing witness take away his control from his perfect plan
Exactly.
because he's a control freak.
Yeah.
I love in that scene too when they're running. I love how he just so casually is just like, "It's all right. I'll get him. I'll be back.
Mhm.
Stay here." It's like oh, your dog ran out of the house, and it's like, stay here for a moment. I gotta go get this guy.
It's such a good moment. Also, when he brings, I think it's Kurt back. Or is it Ram?
I don't remember.
They're interchangeable in a way because it
They're-
doesn't matter who's who.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Um,
They're the same fucking person.
I love that he brought him back and Veronica's the one that shot him. Like he said now, and Veronica shoots.
Yeah.
And only after the fact does she go, I don't know about that. But she did it in the moment.
Yeah, of course she did.
Mm-hmm.
She was prepared to murder. Like, look, the guy's a creep, but
He's
when
not.
he goes on that rant about, of course you wanted to do this,
No, I didn't.
it's,
Yes.
it's like, yes, you did.
I love the childish fight in the car.
Yeah, it's really great.
It makes them look 16,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
sort of also makes the whole thing spookier again.
Yeah.
There are lots of quiet moments that sort of undercut the humor, like at Kurt and Ram's funeral with "I love my dead gay son."
Yeah.
You know, another quotable horrible line.
Yeah.
But
Good on that dad, though.
Yeah.
Like, that's
Props to
super.
that
For
dad.
89, that's so fucking progressive, actually.
but they make a point in that scene that JD leans over to Veronica and goes, "What do you think he'd think about a fag with a pulse? You know,
Yeah.
what do you do with a kid with a limp wrist and a pulse?" And Veronica laughs, and then she looks up, and there in the front row is a little cherubic, crying, blonde-haired girl wearing her big brother's varsity jacket,
Yeah.
who just turns around, and the whole scene gets very quiet for a minute, and you
Yeah.
see Veronica have the moment click again and go,
Yeah, I
"Hmm,
just killed that.
yep,
Could I just
Yeah.
killed that guy?
I did that." You can't undo that.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
Speaking of dads, I want your take on JD's dad and their weird dynamic.
I mean, my take on it.
Mhm.
Or just any of us.
Anyone's
Okay,
take. Jake's new, so I want his fresh take. And
I'm new here.
I'm new here.
Yeah.
And I'll give you my take.
Mhm.
The guy's a fucking asshole.
Mhm.
Like, of course he is. But his son, they're the same person, right?
Mhm.
They're the same fucking person. They just, one of them turned his murderous intent towards construction or demolition, rather.
Mhm.
And that's it. They're the same goddamn individual. Just one guy thinks that he's, a rebel without a cause, and the other guy is working for the man. They're two sides of the same coin, and I think that's the takeaway that I got from it.
Okay.
I don't know why I just thought of this. If his dad was played by Christian Bale, literally would be that guy.
He would be.
American Psycho.
Yeah, he
and
would
then
be.
His
He would
son
be.
is another.
Yeah, that 100% would be that.
hmm
No, yeah, he's a fucking nutso sociopath, and it's really uncomfortable every time
hmm
he's there doing
Yeah.
anything.
It's like it's the discomfort extends past the really well written quippy back and forth that they have that would in any other movie be endearing
Mhm.
and almost like sweet in a way, but because it's these two psychos, these two crazy people doing it, it's like, oh wow, these
It's just not right.
are some
that's
people who
not right.
exist, unfortunately.
Pretty gross.
Yeah, it's very very skeevy.
Yeah.
Because I really like it in this movie because it kind of shows you how the power shifts just between the two of them and how there is just that constant pull and pull,
Yeah,
push and pull between them as family.
yeah,
Because whoever needs to talk or say something suddenly becomes dad in that moment, and the other person shuts up,
Yeah.
which leads to that really good line. "Do you even like your dad?" I didn't give it much thought,
Yeah.
I've never given it much thought.
Yeah. But I'm only bringing this up because just to go to the other renditions that have been done, in the Broadway,
Okay.
his dad is a drunk,
Mm.
and they imply neglectful, potentially abusive. In the Weston, they make it very clear that his dad is physically abusive to JD.
He's definitely, I mean, in the movie, he's definitely neglectful and like emotionally abusive. I don't think that really needs to be like shown. That's kind of a bad change. I don't like that.
That's my personal feeling on it.
I was about to say, like, okay, if you do that, though, you kind of take away what makes this character, because it doesn't actually look like he has a particular, like, yeah, okay, his dad's an asshole. That's kind of a weird fucking psychopath, but from their brief interaction, it doesn't appear like they have a particularly horrible home life or an unstable home life. It just seems like his dad's an asshole.
I just think he's like neglectful.
Yeah, neglectful, sure, and
business focused
and completely self-absorbed, sure, but you don't need, like, because you do that, you turn this guy into what if Bender from fucking Breakfast Club was a psychopath, and it gets a lot less interesting if you change him to that. And
that is a thought I've had, because in the West End in particular, and the Broadway, that the West End does is much more consistently. They make it very clear that JD is physically abused and sort of skittish in a way. Still aggressive, still willing to hurt and fight, but he definitely is sort of jumpy and, has never been loved, has never been hugged kind of fella.
That's a difference in A, writing, and B, when it was written.
I wonder how much of it has to do with when it was rewritten and whatnot. But I have never really enjoyed that change, just because it takes away from the fact that JD is not... he's majorly manipulative and majorly a control freak and a power fiend. He enjoys Veronica, while in the Broadway and in the West End, they make it clear that he worships Veronica. Like she's flipped a switch or something that's made him find a way to be powerful. I
don't think that's as interesting.
No,
I just don't. Like, I don't begrudge them for making that change.
It makes him more like sympathetic, which I don't think he needs to be.
You have a plenty human, which is kind of weird.
Which works really well for the idea of like a musical ballad, but I don't know for certain that it helps the story.
You don't need. You have a sympathetic character already in Veronica. You don't need him to be sympathetic. I just don't think it works. I don't know. I haven't seen it. Maybe after I give it a watch, then I'll have a better understanding of it, but that's...
so I'm going to use this segue to go. I'm also not the biggest fan of that change. However, in the context of the rest of the musical, it doesn't bother me as much. But let's just segue real quick, and by real quick, I mean we're going to be taking a moment, I imagine, into really bad adaptation. Sam.
Okay, so I'm going to drop this.
Take it away.
In 2018, Paramount Network gave them the rights to Heathers, and they wanted to make a modern high school
and just
TV show.
Everyone just kind of think about everything that was going on in 2018. Think of all the potential issues that might crop up here.
Okay.
So they were making this. There are a lot of problems with this particular production of it. It got delayed twice.
Yeah.
Delayed doesn't always mean bad. I'd like to point that out. There are a lot of things that get delayed that come out better.
It got delayed twice. The first time after the Stoneman Douglas shooting, second time after the Santa Fe high school shooting, and then Paramount pulled it, decided we're not going to do it.
As seems reasonable.
And HBO UK still had the rights, so they showed it over there. And then that was in July of 2018. And then in October 2018, Paramount was like, okay, fine, we'll go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
They released it. They were supposed to be 10 episodes. Episodes 7 and 8 were pulled, never aired on TV.
Okay.
I think they could, at the time, you could still access them online.
Yeah.
And then they sort of solidified the last 9 and 10 into a one long episode. So that means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, and 10 were shown.
Okay.
So already it's majorly choppy, very short, was not picked up for a season 2.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
Hey, Sam, why were those episodes pulled?
Those particular ones I'd have to pull up again to figure out what the issue is. We're going to just
that's
overarching.
Fine.
I have a guess.
I have a guess too.
Have you guys ever seen any of the trailers from this? Did you know it existed?
I I did, but I knew it existed from just hearing grumblings generally from you about it and Rachel about it. Yeah.
So you've seen the Heathers as we've seen them in this movie.
I have.
The West End and the Broadway, fairly faithful adaptations. You have your skirt wearing high heels, powerful, rich white women.
Yes.
They tried to flip the script.
So you had a larger LGBT, short-haired female with an Instagram following, a gay man, and then a woman of color. Also potentially LGBT. I don't know that they solidified that. But those three were the Heathers.
Okay. So I'm a very PC person. I'm a very, I like to think of myself as, a fairly, left-leaning individual. Hey, wow, that's missing the point of diversity includes, isn't it?
Yes.
And
Just
a little bit.
The entire point of the Heathers and the innate power that they had.
Yeah, there could not have been a better time to cast 3 blonde-hair, blue-eyed white women than maybe in this spot. Now, you could probably make Veronica someone who is not, white or, make her gay or anything. Could have been a great place for that. Or some of the side characters also would have been great to have that changed around a little bit. Don't replace the villains.
How are you so inept that you look at this story and be like, we'll get these people to be the villains.
No, Jack, I think that might be on purpose.
And then we'll kill them all.
That's the implication here is that wasn't exactly what they were thinking.
Well,
it's just missing the entire. The
producers made it very clear this was on purpose, and it was because in the current day and age, the Heathers of old are not the people with power anymore.
What?
Are you kidding me?
That's what they're quoted as saying.
That's what the quote?
I really wish that you all could have seen my brother's reaction to that. It was pretty top notch.
So this is one of the few times where I want to watch it so I can say I have consumed all of the media and know for certain how I feel. But also, it's universally panned. Nobody likes this. I haven't found a single good review.
This sounds like a train wreck.
I know.
How do you get up on a podium and with a straight face say, you know what? It's the gays. They have all the power.
Hey, Jack,
no, it's so bad.
Dude, conservatives do that.
I know, they do it every day.
Yeah, I mean, they totally have all the power, really.
Look,
honestly.
it's not getting picked up. No one's bringing it back.
Great, guys.
How did it get greenlit?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Someone looked at the concept and they were like, "Oh yeah, we've hit some markers here. I think we can market this." Completely missing the point of the plot.
Old white men fundamentally do not understand most things.
This is true.
It really does boil down to that. No, this is in 2018, so post the 2014 off-Broadway bump, and this is right in time for the West End production going incredibly well. So this is a property that makes sense to try and reboot at the moment if you're trying to get money.
But not with the amount of, I mean, go on, Zach. Sorry.
I was going to say, I think doing a TV show makes sense. I think this could be stretched to a mini-series format, like an 8-episode format, and I think it could be quite good in that. Not if you miss the entire point of what this is trying to do and say, however, which doing that kind of casting and character rewrite misses the point of exactly what this thing. I mean, this movie has a lot to say, honestly, but that's one of the big parts of it. Is I would say maybe, while not the most important part, definitely in the top fucking 3.
Yeah. No, I highly recommend anyone watching the trailer of it. I'm gonna make you guys watch the trailer of it.
We can watch it. Yeah.
You want to watch it now?
We can watch it right now. We can. Hey, so guess what? We can even splice this in while we're fucking watching it.
I love making you put visuals in the middle of
it's great. It means it's my favorite.
I'd also like to just kind of step in for a moment and go, if they've missed the point so severely,
it's so bad. You can see it right now. Just from the thumbnail.
Yeah, but missing the point that hard on that, I am also wondering how badly they botched the storyline.
I want to know
the violence. Because they thought it was absolutely necessary to pull it after 2 shootings.
Here, I'll hold it so you both can see.
So I'm wondering how bad that is too.
Dear Diary, yesterday's lunchtime poll asked, "Who are you?" When it finally came my turn, Heather C. turned to me and said,
Well, suck my third nipple. If it isn't Veronica Sawyer, how Banana Republic?
It's ironic, Heather.
We're not doing irony anymore. Keep up.
Yeah.
Keep up. Shut up, Heather.
Yeah, shut up, Heather.
Heather, only I tell Heather shut up.
Oh, yeah.
In the spot, I came to have fun. Dressed to the nines, so they know I'm number one.
Fat kids can be popular.
The preferred term is body positive.
What about the Asian kids?
And the genderqueer? Bang! Obviously, the gays and Jews are over.
She looks like if Jim Henson got in one last puppet before he died.
Gosh, Heather. Super mean way to treat the mentally challenged.
Jesus. Who is this?
I'm JD.
I like your whole rebel thing.
Let's snort Adderall, make out, and kill Heather.
What?
You can't go one night without your domestic terrorist boyfriend.
He's a teenage Charles Manson.
What a tragedy.
Tragedy? He was only paralyzed from the waist down.
Your boyfriend is a loser.
You're jealous. Fatty.
You're about to get flamed.
So why do you hang out with her?
It's high school. Why do we do anything that we do?
I was hoping all the sex you're having would finally deep dick the quote of the day out of you, but I guess not.
You were nothing before you met me.
I wish Heather Chandler would just die so that I can finally be free.
Whatever you do, make sure it matters.
Ooh la la.
Don't think of it like you're hurting, Heather. Think of it like you're helping everyone else.
Oh my clit.
Oh my God. We're gonna be late for school.
Heather Chandler killed herself this morning.
She certainly didn't look suicidal.
Her skin was flawless.
Never have I seen something miss the point so intensely. I had forgotten how bad that trailer was.
I have a question to ask Sam. Everyone just... Hey, Sam.
Yeah?
How does it feel to have your own Suicide Squad?
I know.
How does that feel?
It's
you
the
know
worst.
my pain. Strangely, you now know my pain as well as anyone could.
They missed every single possible point.
Didn't they? Didn't they now?
Just miss it. I mean, they fucking ostriched that shit. They had their heads buried the entire time.
Yeah, it's like the concept. It's like, oh yeah, we're meeting up at this soccer field to play soccer, and they showed up at an ice rink.
Yeah,
yeah.
No,
like,
it's really
we
bad.
are doing water polo. What you talking about?
I am.
Because it's so bad. Also, I still love that the main girl, Veronica, and the main guy, still white, still typical, straight.
Conventionally attractive.
In fact, Veronica is a very pretty blonde white woman.
Yep, you said that, and I was holding back.
Look at this
I appreciate.
white woman who's on heroin.
I appreciate you letting that hit. Wow. Huh.
Also, holy fucking shit. I want to fucking hit in the face whoever came up to let's snort Adderall and make out.
They missed his whole point.
Yes,
JD
they do.
would never
Of course
be
they
doing
do. They miss the point of all of them.
Literally the point of everything.
So many things.
And it's also like whereas like of course in the original Heather's film it's like teens didn't necessarily act exactly like that. But it was heightened forms of that kind of thing. This TV series looks like someone scrolled through like Tumblr and Twitter for like 2 minutes and went, I understand how the kids talk. I've got this.
How the kids work.
This is some conservative uncle's understanding of how his niece lives her life.
It is.
This
100%.
is exactly what this is.
I swear to God, this looks like it was fucking put together by goddamn Turning Point or something.
God bless whoever that dude is who had to say the line, fat people can be popular now. Because what the fuck? How do you write that and go, yes, that's it?
Jack, I'm here to tell you, you're one of two guys. You're in an apartment. You're looking at the clock. You're like, I got 4 days to do this.
You smoke some Adderall.
Yeah, you snort some Adderall, make out with your homie, and you finish writing that script.
I kind of want that show more than whatever that was. That sounds like a good time.
Do you have like any writers on that? I'm just curious.
I did not think of their names. Please.
I'm just curious.
Who else can we blame? No, so it was wildly panned. The fact that I cannot. I have looked all over the internet for a positive review of the show to give me any level of hope, and I have yet to find one. That's amazing.
It's like they took a look at Riverdale and said, that's what we want to make.
But worse.
Yeah.
So that's why I didn't want to get into it. No, who's in it?
Oh no, one of the writers was additional crew on Crank High Voltage. That's a tragedy.
Jackson has.
Do I need to pour some whiskey for you, Jack?
Jackson shambles here. His favorite movie, Crank, is tied to this.
Most of the people who write it either did like crew on other stuff, or were like, this is the first thing they wrote. Like one of the dudes who wrote for, he was actually the creator of this. Did camera and electric for a lot of movies, like Requiem for a Dream. He did.
Wow.
Look, you can stretch out in other things. I'm not saying you can't stretch out in other things, and you're allowed to write bad stuff.
Yeah, but
everyone writes bad bullshit. It's how you get to be a better writer. You write garbage, and then, you get a little better each time.
I'm glad they got it out of their system. I just wish they could have done it on something that wasn't something I enjoy,
I as a longtime fan of DC, yes, I do. I understand in a
And this movie doesn't really need any reboots. It doesn't need any adaptions. And because of when it was written and how it is filmed, I don't know how well it does with an adaptation that takes place in any time other than the 80s.
I think that given the right crew and the right amount of time, I think you could do a pretty decent reboot. Not that I don't like reboots either. You know how I am about that, but
reboots can be done well though.
Yeah, but reboots can be done well. I look at this is the one I always go back to, but Dredd is a way better movie than Judge Dredd, and that's a reboot. But
you have to have number one people who really care about the media, and the people who wrote this did not care about the media that they were writing about.
No, they clearly did not.
Or they did not.
They cared differently.
This is coming from Paramount, the same studio who currently holds the rights to Star Trek, and we've all seen what they've done. Not all of us, but most of us have seen what they've done with that. So maybe it's a higher up problem. It was like, we own this thing. What garbage can we pump out?
I think that goes back to, if we own it, we should make more of it as opposed to just letting some things breathe.
Yeah.
And there are plenty of good versions of a similar story that have already been done, i.e. Mean Girls,
Yeah.
Maybe it doesn't need to be rebooted or redone.
And again,
I agree with that 100%.
Again, I bring it back to who decided in our current just climate in general, as far as like school violence goes, this is the thing we want to reboot. Because to handle that correctly, you would have to be very careful, because it could be done. I think it could be done in dark humor, absolutely. You have to be careful with how you handle that, though. And there is no way that the makers of the trailer we just watched did that. Which is, I think, why it was delayed multiple times. Because they looked at what they had made and realized that there was no adjusting it. And that they had not thought about that.
They didn't handle it sensitively. Because the point of Heathers...
Not that I've seen it, but...
The point of Heathers that we just watched, actual Heathers.
Yes.
Like,
the true king.
True Heathers.
Yeah.
Was throughout the whole film the sensationalization of teenage suicide. How when someone kills themselves, suddenly they mean something to you, even though they didn't mean anything before that. It doesn't matter that they're in pain. It's because you now have something that you can look to and try and come together over. It becomes a community project. What's the line? There's only one chance to get it right. This is the most important decision a teenager can make is how to commit suicide.
Line is so fucking...
And this is a decision that affects all of us. And they did those lines over top of Martha attempting to jump in front of a truck. They throughout the whole movie, they did a very good job of saying how ridiculous these statements are.
Yeah. Also, she starts the group, I'm thrilled. What?
Yes. Yeah. It was everyone was so out of touch with the fact that these were supposed to be tragedies and so focused on understanding and being, better or how it affected them. It became a all about me situation.
Oh man, for a cheerleader, I can close.
There is no one in this movie that I hate more than that fucking hippie teacher.
She's the worst.
She's the absolute worst. 'Cause
Miss Fleming's awful.
She's the other end of the spectrum that's not like the crazy dad. She's like a problem in another way.
Yeah, because she's capitalizing, and the way she talks to literally every student after the fact.
Counselor, we've all met that one.
We've all met that teacher or person or whoever.
You don't mean anything until you're interesting, until you're like a problem or something that might gain them any level of merit.
And then everyone will think I'm a good person.
How do I get on TV?
Yeah.
All of these people who Chandler hated are suddenly on TV talking about how wonderful she was and how they were friends. They do that throughout the whole movie, and I don't know how well they would handle that in a modern adaptation, unless it's just doing the whole Facebook vigils kind of,
I think
that could be handled.
That's probably how you handle it.
Yeah,
that's probably the best way to handle it. Yeah,
because that's real. That happens.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a good comment.
Thoughts and prayers.
Yeah, did anyone ever
don't do a whole lot?
Guys' school?
Me, not until a year after I graduated.
Yeah, after we graduated.
Okay. I think at least one, I'm pretty sure 2 people died at the time I was going to high school. And man, that shit, I felt like a fucking asshole because the person I was dating at the time was telling me about it. It was like, but none of these people gave a shit about her. So like,
you don't know them.
Yeah, you don't know them. So why are they doing this?
And you can't know their mind.
Yeah.
This is also a long-standing societal issue where we suddenly absolve or change the way we think about people because they have died.
It doesn't fucking matter.
And it's like
it doesn't change anything.
It doesn't. Is it a tragedy that the person died? In some cases, yes, but like
there's a difference between not speaking ill of the dead and then glorifying.
Yeah, glorifying someone.
That's a huge problem
because they died.
It's just, one of those things that I don't know how well they could adapt it.
You knew them. I think that's also
that's like clout chasing too.
Yeah,
I want to be involved.
That's a major sin. You're taking that person's pain and then making
It's awful.
making a fantasy around it, which is fucked up.
And that's the whole point of Heathers,
Yeah.
Shit, guys, we getting into some deep fucking territory, deep waters.
I told you I had thoughts.
That's a smart fucking movie, man.
Yeah.
And amongst all of the very quippy, very dumb lines, how very.
Yeah, we can.
There is a lot of really funny shit in this movie.
Let's back it up to lighten it up a little bit. That first eulogy by that priest, perfect.
Yeah,
one righteous dude.
And that's Jesus.
That's real.
All the kids in their MTV video games.
I fucking love that preacher, man. I was on
that
board.
Entire funeral scene is so goddamn funny.
Everything about it.
Yeah.
She's over there in the holy font.
I know.
that was so good. I love that shit.
Hey, Veronica, what are you doing? I don't know. Maybe more and watch TV.
So I think that we are gonna have to start wrapping this thing up a little bit, though. But because we also have now finished 4 movies as well.
That's right.
So, does anyone have anything else?
Yeah. Do we have any other important? Sam, do we have any other important topics that we need to hit?
I'm trying to think of anything that has to happen.
Anything you're really passionate about that you want to just get out there, or thoughts you want to chew our brains for?
That was the big line. That was the big line. The very ending, how that's clearly a Breakfast Club parallel with the zoom back with him, fist in the air, long coat, red hand. The use of color in this movie is so very good. You can see the power dynamics shifting.
Yeah.
Because Chandler dies, and then no one's wearing red, and then they hand it off to Duke, and she doesn't get the red scrunchie until after JD has killed Kurt and Ram. And after he kills Kurt and Ram, JD comes in wearing red.
Mm-hmm.
And then as soon as he decides who's going to take power after him, she gets to wear red.
Everyone was because Kurt and Ram were the ones
the reds.
Red. Yeah.
Everyone in power had red. And as soon as they were done, power shifted to the next person in charge.
Yeah. I noticed that Veronica was wearing blue a lot of the movie.
Except for when she wears purple, which is after Kurt and Ram are died.
Yeah.
And then she gets red in her outfit as well.
Yeah.
And Heather McNamara wears yellow, and she's the flighty, sort of scared one the whole way through.
Yeah.
And Duke is envious and in green right up until she gets power.
Yeah.
They're very subtle with the colors,
but it's very
green.
Good. She's literally green with envy.
Absolutely green with envy.
Absolutely.
I didn't catch that until right now, but I'm glad you brought that up.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's good.
And Yellow Heather,
She's so sweet.
She's so sweet.
A little bit of a dick because she definitely is part of the crew, but in general,
she's a little like.
She's believable.
But yeah,
she's not
also-
quite the cartoonish levels of supervillainy that the other two Heathers are.
But also, like, she flat out admits, because, like, wait, you know, if everybody else jumped off a cliff, would you?
Probably.
That's a level of insight you don't normally see from those characters.
Mhm.
Just the flat out, yeah, probably, I would.
She's a bit of a ditz, but you like her. You know?
Definitely don't hate her.
Mm-mm.
You feel for her, I think, you feel pity for her.
Yeah, because I think she just fell in with bad friends.
Yeah.
I think if she was friends with nice people, she would be incredibly nice.
But she's rich,
She's a
powerful,
follower.
and a Heather, so she gets to be part of the crew. But no, the colors in the movie are very well handled because whenever there's a trying moment for Veronica, she's lit in red light.
Yeah.
In the dream sequences, she tends to be lit in blue.
Yeah. The dream sequence actually takes place in the future, as you can tell from the blue lighting.
And the cool sunglasses.
And the cool sunglasses.
I did have a moment when that scene happened, and I had kind of forgotten about it because the last time I watched this was like years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And since then, I have watched more like weird stuff like Twin Peaks, and I had a moment where I did the weird dream sequence in the thing with all the glasses on, that I had a moment where I was like, I feel like this is weirdly familiar in a way that is not the familiar moment that I thought I was going to have from rewatching a movie I've seen.
Mm-hmm. But no, because even with the fight between Heather Chandler and Veronica outside of the Remington party, it's the red light from the fire, but there is the blue light from the rest of the alleyway, sort of encroaching in on the red light. So the color is very well handled in this movie. It's very on purpose. And it's very sort of dreamy throughout the whole thing.
That's true.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because everyone's a little out of touch with reality.
Yeah.
The repetitive.
Oh, the scene with her parents.
Yeah, every scene with her parents. I love how we don't see her parents in a different setting for most of that movie. It's the same thing.
Until stakes get real.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the wonderful bit about it's not until you're being treated like human beings do you realize, you know.
I really like that line.
Mhm.
That's a super good line from kind of a character that otherwise doesn't exist. But man, that's a really raw line to deliver to your daughter who's clearly going through some shit. But
Mhm.
also, like, I don't know, maybe that's a pretty good line for a time like that.
Yeah.
I think those are good. The only other big, wonderful line is, we did a murder, and that's a crime.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hard to work that one into your daily life, but I love it so much.
Well, not hard if you get into a certain line of work, but you probably don't want to do that.
I'll think about it.
Could you imagine being like a major assassin and you, at the end it's like, all right, well, we did a murder. That's a crime.
It's like
let's go get some waffles.
there's a character in Rick and Morty who's basically that. Yeah, Crumbopulous Michael.
Yeah.
No, I think those are all my big notes. Thinking it over. I'm sure I'll assault you all later with more thoughts, but those are the big ones.
Yeah.
I love this movie.
Okay,
All right.
hit us with the questions, Jay.
Yeah.
All right, so let's start off. Favorite, least favorite moment. And we'll start with Sam. No.
I challenged you on that. Well, you haven't seen this movie before. I think Sam should go last. This is her favorite.
Yeah, well, we go around the table.
I
We
think-
can go
I
around the
just because
table
you want to
if
go last.
You know what?
Jake's going first.
I'll go
decided.
first. I'll go
All right.
first. All right, I'm gonna refer to my notes real quick.
That's all right.
Least favorite's gonna be difficult. So, spoiler alert: I did enjoy this movie quite a bit.
Hey,
Like quite a lot of
I
it.
was so worried. I'd overhyped it.
It did. So I temper my expectations pretty hard before I watch something,
Good.
no matter how much it's been sold to me. What is my least favorite part?
Yeah, that's another hard one.
It's a hard one. It's like maybe I'm not huge on the dream sequence. I don't think it's bad, but if I really have to pick like something that I don't like out of a movie that's otherwise pretty good, I think that's probably the downest moment for me. Not the second half of the dream sequence with the funeral, but the first half where you think it like does the trick of like you think that they're going to murder someone else and then it comes back to not being that. It's like it's just sort of a fine, okay in a sea of very good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not that it's bad. It's just that it's probably the scene that if I were to cut it out from the rest of the movie would be probably my down moment for it if I had to choose one. That being said, I'm having a really difficult time choosing one.
Okay.
Favorite scene, on the other hand, is the entire boiler room sequence.
It's such a good fight.
It's really great. It has... I didn't expect to get an excellent, like, showdown sequence, but I kind of just got an excellent showdown sequence, and it channeled a lot of really great movies and referenced a lot of really great movies. Like this, there's a scene in The Fugitive that is shot and looks really similar to that entire sequence, and I don't remember when The Fugitive came out, but
I can look up.
But if The Fugitive came out after Heathers, then The Fugitive owes Heathers. Harrison Ford owes Heathers some props.
I think it came up before, but I might be wrong about that.
Okay, but yeah, that entire scene is pretty much perfect. Like,
oh no, 93. So a few years later, Harrison Ford.
Heathers wins again.
But yeah, that's probably my favorite part.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Cool.
And like I said, finding least favorite part was pretty difficult for me. So now we can go in the normal order. Hey, Sam.
That's my turn.
What's your least favorite or favorite least favorite?
I'll start least favorite. I gotta think about it. But honestly, sitting here having rewatched it again, I think it's the dream sequence, but I think it's the opposite one from you. I don't like the funeral bit as much as I like the conversation in the dreamy Heather's house. I like the bit where Veronica is realizing it doesn't matter who he kills now. There's always going to be someone new on the list.
Yeah.
And the fact that she's her own reflection in the knife, realizing that I'm only so necessary to the plot here.
Yeah.
And I'm probably pretty high up on that list if I keep telling him no.
Yeah.
I like that bit. The bit after it being so... A lot of good came from that. The fact that we get to see Ghost Heather Chandler is fun.
Yeah.
And is a precursor for the entirety of the musical, because she's a ghost throughout the entirety of the musical, which is a wonderful change.
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
It's so good. She kills Heather Chandler, and then for the rest of the musical, Heather Chandler is just sort of bebopping around.
Yeah.
Talking to Veronica, making her suffer.
As you do.
It's dreamy, and it works for the dream with the 3D glasses and the weird tulips and all of the weird swans throughout the whole thing. But other than selling the fact that it was a dream, I feel like it goes on a little bit long.
That's fair.
As far as favorite part, I'm so torn.
It's hard.
There's so many good bits. I'm gonna cheat.
That's fine. I don't think any of us are going to be angry about that.
No.
Our Love Is God, Let's Go Get a Slushie. I love.
That's really good.
Because you can see the murder in his eyes and him deciding in a very possessive kind of way. You tried to play with what was mine. I'd already clocked you two. It's tomorrow. You're gonna die.
Yeah.
But, I'm gonna be charming about it. Which ties into, I love the characterization of JD and how awful they make him. They let him be charming. They let him be smooth. But throughout the whole movie, when he kisses her, it's possessive. And when she breaks up with him, when she drags her back, they don't undercut that with any kind of music. They don't try and sort of zoom in on that or make it sensationalized. It looks scary and it looks like she's scared, and they let that happen every time he does it.
Rapey.
Very much so, but they let it be that way in sort of a quiet, shocking moment that really doesn't try and make him pretty boy, sad boy that so many movies post, and even in the musicals they kind of make him into pretty boy, sad boy, with a heart of gold but a heart of murder. I love the fact that he's such an ass. He's an edgy dreamboat with his clomping boots and his big jacket, and he's quoting Russian poets or something. He's the worst. I like that he gets to be the worst in this one.
I hate that.
The quoting Russian poets, though, just also seems like something that a guy like that would do. My bigger problem is the dreamboat section. But
he's still dreamy. As much as I hate him, he is a dreamy character, and he's supposed to be, because he's supposed to be. Veronica in this movie, in every iteration, is supposed to be hyper intelligent. She's so smart, but he keeps up with her, and he's pretty. And that makes her just a little bit, not even dumb, but a little more willing to give him a chance.
yeah, I mean, that's totally fair.
And I like that.
Also, I mean, slushies are pretty good.
No.
Our love is God. Let's go get a slushie. It's such a strong line.
Yeah.
It's a very good line.
Before you murk some guys, you gotta take your girl out to get a slushie, even if she picks the wrong one.
Hop on my cool motorbike and let's go to 7-Eleven. You know?
Cherry.
I know. It should have been Coke.
Should have been Coke. You should have
yeah.
at least mixed
Coke.
The
them.
7-Eleven
Yeah.
scene's so good too. Man, they're all good moments. God.
I forgot about that moment.
I'll stop now before I say the whole movie. But like,
All right,
Jackson.
Hey, bang, 3 for 3. Least favorite scene. Also the dream sequence. But first half, not the second half.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't like the first half as much. I think it's just kind of,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I agree. I like some. I understand like what you said about it, but just kind of slow, really slow.
That's fair.
Dream sequence.
Yeah.
Maybe that's intentional because that's how dreams kind of feel. But
There are a lot of bits that are kind of slow in this, though. Because even though I love the chase through the woods scene, but that could be a little bit shorter, in my opinion, too.
I think it
that
works.
was so funny.
It's so
though.
funny.
We're still laughing at the end of that, though. I think it's the perfect line.
That actually goes into my favorite scene where it goes the two cops smoking weed in their car.
Hell
and they're like,
yes.
I heard it again. And the other cop's like, oh, shit. Kick it.
They're so ready. They've been waiting all night.
That is my favorite fucking part of this movie.
So good.
Jack, if you and I were cops, that would just, that's it.
That's it.
It would be that useless.
Although I will say, very just runner up is that one kid doing the like prayers. I forget it. He's like part of the new. No, he does the food run.
Yes, his name is Rodney.
Rodney fucking sitting there doing his little thing, doing his little prayer next
Please
to the
don't ever
body.
let this happen to me. I don't think I can handle suicide.
Oh, what a good fucking line.
The prayers are so
The
good.
entire funeral scene. You know what? God, no. The cops are still my favorite, but the whole funeral scene is really close runner up.
Yeah.
On that.
Ram over there.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. Rachel.
Let's just bring it home. My least
Yeah.
favorite sauce is the dream sequence.
Yeah.
Which it's such a good sequence. I just, it could be trimmed.
Okay, and I will add in. I'm sorry, Sam. I'm with boys on this one. I don't like the first half as much.
That's fine.
It's just slightly too long.
That's cool.
I think they shortened it a little bit because the second part of the dream sequence is weird, but it is not nearly as long.
Yeah.
Good God, that first part of it
It drags
is
on a
long.
little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It should also be noted that,
No, it's still good.
yeah, this is like, we're comparing an 89 to a 90 here. There's like 1 point of separation, and that's ultimately what makes the difference, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think
We
any.
located the weakest part of the movie.
Yeah,
Mhm.
It's still
pretty
damn
strong.
Still passable.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What's your favorite?
Favorite part?
Oh gosh, favorite. That's very difficult.
Yeah.
My favorite part is probably.
It's tough.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot.
It's actually probably the prayer sequence when they're going through that inner monologue on each one.
Yeah.
It's just
Really
really,
good.
really funny.
I prayed every night that Heather Chandler would die,
Die.
and I felt bad about it every time, but I
Praise
kept doing
Jesus.
it. Praise be.
But dude, it was
No,
like-
it's so good. It's very funny.
fucking
You
dog.
just line through.
Yeah, the dog making jokes. Yeah, he's like, why'd you have to take away such a snatch? Sorry, that's just a joke.
They're so good.
Yeah.
I also like the one guy who like ends it with like the prayer.
That's
that's him.
Ram.
That's
yeah.
him.
Yeah.
Yep.
Gosh, it's
He also had a really great one that was, I think it was something like "God protect the sinners, so we can keep on sinning."
Yep.
And then just go
Hail Mary, full of
play
grace.
it back. Yeah.
So we don't get
that
caught.
was a joke too.
Not a joke.
Yeah.
It's a good bit.
Yeah,
It's a very good bit.
Mm-hmm.
Hey guys, was this a good movie?
Yes.
Technically,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes, technically,
Yes.
very
I
good
think
movie.
so. Yeah.
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 Very
Mhm.
easily done, especially on 3 million.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, great movie, actually.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
Very good movie.
Okay, would everyone watch it again?
Yes.
Well, yeah, obviously, clearly.
Did we say no?
40.
Jake?
I'll watch it again. Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
It's
Yeah.
yes across the board.
Yeah, this is a
That's
very
so
easy one.
Easy.
Yeah. All right, folks. It's been a minute.
Yeah. We're now
on our third set of 4.
God, yeah.
Yeah,
This is
crazy,
wild.
right? Wild.
Yeah.
Hey,
How many movies have we watched in total? That's
12. Well, we just hit 12. We're past. Hey man, we've done 10 episodes, halfway to 1 million.
Yeah, but there, 10 episodes, 10 of them Wild West, 2 of them not.
Yeah.
So
that's the secret content.
We've got.
You
so
know?
what
let's
did we
go
watch
ahead
this
and
round?
We watched Terminator.
Mm-hmm.
We watched Heathers.
This one's gonna be so goddamn.
We
hard.
watched Jacob's Ladder.
Guys,
And we watched
guys,
What
one
We
of
Do
us
in the
has to
Shadows.
One of us has to pick a shit movie now. Someone has to take a hit.
This is going to be interesting. I think it'll really come down to personal preference.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really difficult.
I want to make Jake go again. Out of the 4 we've watched, what's your top and bottom here?
Oh, bottom's gonna be rough this time around.
Bottom's very difficult. So this is a tough one all around.
Because like the bottom of this bracket is still at least
The bottom-
in the middle.
I'm going to go ahead and tell you, just for my personal rankings, the bottom of this bracket still ends up in my top 5. No, not top 5, but like top 6 movies. Yeah. They're all very good. And
bracket.
It's a very good bracket. Let's go least first, because I like to go good or bad than good.
Mm-hmm.
And this isn't even bad. I think it's What We Do in the Shadows by a hair. Like, it's still really good.
Is really good.
It's really good. It's really funny. I went back and watched the stupid vampire bat fight scene like 3 nights ago on YouTube because it's fucking funny. But like,
I really watch their roommate scene when I just need a moment.
it's really funny. The problem is, god damn, did we put it up against some like fucking juggernauts?
Yup.
Yeah, it's so good still, and you should absolutely watch that movie. But I think if I had to pick, and we do, because this is the prison we've created for ourselves that I've happily served as warden of. Yeah, I think that it's my least favorite, not because it even does anything wrong, but just because it doesn't do quite as many things right as the other two.
Mm-hmm.
Here's where I think the shock for the table is going to come in, though. Hey, Jacob's Ladder is the best movie we watched this time around.
Wow.
Man, really?
I
was fully expecting Terminator.
What if I told you Terminator is not even second place because Heathers is in second place? I love Terminator.
That's shocking.
Guys, these 2 movies were great. We've spent the entire episode talking about Heathers, and we went back. I don't love T1 as much as I love its baby brother.
That's
and
fair.
These 2 movies are just like, holy shit, they inspired a lot of things that I love, and clearly, and they are really interesting movies to think about and talk about, and really interesting movies to watch. But Jacob's Ladder, especially so. Like, I've thought about that movie, no joke, at least 3 times a week since we've watched it. It's kind of like everything I want horror to be.
Mm-hmm.
It just is so smart, and yeah, it's my number 1 out of this 4. So I'll quit talking and pass the baton now.
All right.
Hey, Sam.
Least favorite, because I think I know your favorite on the list, Sam.
I don't know. I've not been subtle whatsoever in my life once. I'm looking at this list, which is all very good.
It's very difficult.
Mm-hmm. I don't think this will, well, I don't know.
It's hard.
Here's the thing. My big feeling about movies, my big fun feeling about movies.
Big feel. My mood.
Here's the vibe I'm laying down.
You heard it here first, but this is the Sam vibe check of the podcast.
Dude, does this movie pass the vibe check? Let's find out. Smoke weed.
Getting in there with those hot 2015 memes, everybody.
Yes.
It's fine. We can just tell them you were dabbing. You don't understand.
Put a sick stock photo dab on the screen.
I'll just
keep the stock photo like what do you
Stretch
call
it
it,
out.
watermark.
you all are assuming that I'm going to put that much effort into this. I'm going to draw stick figure arms on our little dudes on our
Just
logo, and that's all it's going to be.
Perfect. No, looking at these 4 movies, the thing I ran into, if I have to decide which one I like the least, I like them all, and they all bring different things to the table. Is the problem?
Yeah, and that's even harder. These are all drastically different movies.
Yeah, we might want to talk about picking genres at some point.
Oh, we did a theme, and it was roughly. Well, no, you fucked up our theme. Dark?
No, we didn't do a theme for this one.
We didn't. Accidentally, Dark. Dark is kind of our theme.
It's not a theme.
It is so a theme.
Dark is like the basis of
This is an off podcast argument. We're at an hour and 23. We gotta go.
I just want to throw my egg in this. I agree with Rachel. Dark is not. It's not a genre.
Noir is a genre, and that's literally just black.
What?
That's different.
But noir is a what? He argued against your point in that moment.
Hey, it's my turn to talk. Let me tell you which one I like the least.
Okay.
Welcome back to Sam's vibe check. All right, Sam, what's your feeling on these 4 movies?
Of these 4 movies, the one I'm least likely to watch most often is Jacob's Ladder, just because it is so intense. It is so well written. It is, minus the one beef we had in the last podcast with it, but it is so well written and so serious and so good. But I don't want to watch it every week.
That's fair.
Yeah.
And
That's
I
completely
could probably
fair.
watch What We Do in the Shadows. If I was forced at gunpoint to watch any of these movies once a week, Jacob's Ladder would be the one that I would have me a little sad about that, you know?
Yeah.
That's fair. It's not a movie you would want to watch every week.
Surprising no one, Heathers is still top of my list, just because it is my particular brand of dumb bullshit, which I really, really like.
I don't even think it's dumb. I think it's rather smart. It's smart dumb bullshit.
It is smart dumb bullshit, which is my brand of dumb.
Yeah, there you go.
I like to get to chuckle to myself in amongst the dumb guffaws.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was funny.
Yeah. Sensible chuckle round 2, y'all.
All right, Jackson.
So, least favorite is real difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Because I do really like all these movies a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of hurts me to say this because I love the series, but I think least favorite out of these, purely because I know myself, is Terminator.
Okay.
That's not against the movie. It's a fucking great movie.
It's in a bad bracket.
It's in a bad bracket. I'm willing to watch the other movies more, and I'm much, much more likely, if someone says, hey, do you want to watch Terminator, for me to go and say, let's just watch T2 instead.
Yeah. Or you watch them back to back.
Yeah, or we watch them back to back.
Double feature.
Yeah, not fair to Terminator.
That's
but
fine.
It's where it is.
Didn't even make it.
It's where it is right now. Jacob's Ladder also for me is my favorite. I mean, it's my favorite horror movie. It's not really a surprise going into this. It's so well done, and like Jake said, it inspired so many good things, and it is exactly what I want horror to be. That is my cup of spooky tea.
Mm-hmm.
That is what I want.
Yeah.
And fuck, man, I don't think I would want to watch it every week, but I could, just because there's so many things that are just interesting and just good about that movie. I like it a lot. Jacob's Ladder is a good ass movie.
It's fair.
And so is every single other movie.
This is, guys, as the resident wannabe critic at the table, this has been a fucking treat. It's been so nice to just sit down and watch some good movies. I cannot wait to see.
Next week's gonna be all garbage.
We're watching Howard the Duck.
Yeah.
No, we're watching whatever crap Jack brings to the table.
Fair.
And I'm for sure bringing something bad this time.
Well, we don't know. We'll talk about it off. We'll talk about it off.
Figure something out.
Yeah.
Rachel.
Least favorite. And again, all these movies are amazing. I will watch any of them. Least favorite's Terminator, because the other 3 hit my particular love in movies so damn hard that if you put those 3 movies, if you put top of my list is Jacob's Ladder, but if you put Jacob's Ladder, Heathers, and What We Do in the Shadows in a movie pack for me, and when we're watching this Saturday, you would have hit so many of my favorite things in movies.
What a wild time that would be.
I think I would have to be I need a break in between some of these.
That's not like a Walmart or a Dollar General movie pack. That's like someplace out in fucking Idaho.
They're taped together.
Yeah, they're literally taped together.
Yeah. But it would be taped together by me, and you'd open them up, and it would say Rachel last name in each of them, and you'd be like, Rachel, I found your fucking movies, and I'd be like, it's fine, I have them digitally. So I can watch all the movies. No, Terminator is fantastic. It is not as up my alley as the other three, and I have not seen T2.
We're
which
fixing that.
Makes me think that Terminator will end up higher on my list in general on the master list after I watch it.
There's a chance, or it might not.
With Terminator alone, it's gotta be the fourth one. Top is Jacob's Ladder because, gosh, I love horror.
Makes me happy to hear.
I'm a big horror fan in general, and my favorite type of horror is that kind of psychological thriller that still leans into those horror tropes and really has something to say where it's not just, oh, we've messed with someone's mind.
Oh, it's Satan.
Yeah, it's Satan, or they go through the entire film with it being a good commentary on mental illness, and at the end then go, oh, it's supernatural. That's a different movie we can talk about later.
Yeah.
But no, Jacob's Ladder it's beautifully done. The attention to like the filmography and the colors in it is incredibly impressive.
That movie is shot.
The through line and the consistency with its imagery is really great. Every time I think about it, I think I've got to rewatch it because there are so many things in it that it makes you kind of think about. Like, it plays very well with, was this kind of partly at least the machinations of his mind?
Yeah.
Or were these strictly, absolutely angels and demons? I tend towards that second interpretation, and that this is just purgatory. But both are completely legitimate.
Views of
it. Are these neurons firing as the man dies, or is this truly purgatory? Or not purgatory? Is it purgatory?
Yeah, purgatory.
Yeah.
He's kind of trapped. Well, it's like kind of trapped in between.
It depends on your interpretation, but
Yes, I was.
Because another way you can look at it is he's in hell trying
to escape. Yeah,
it's absolutely beautiful. And then my line is, I have my full. It's Jacob's Ladder, Heather's What We Do in the Shadows, Terminator. Yeah. Because Heather's, I love What We Do in the Shadows so much. Heather's hits a dark tone that I love.
Hey.
And it has something very legitimate to say within it too. So I think naturally, not that What We Do in the Shadows doesn't have things to be said, but they are not as
culturally relevant. No,
also,
that's not true. Maybe
no. I would argue arguing with your flatmates is extremely culturally relevant in every timeline.
Maybe significant.
Yeah, significant. It doesn't have as
What
significant.
We Do in the Shadows inspired its TV show, and I think that's about the cultural footprint that it's had.
Yeah,
like it's good.
It's very good.
Yeah, but arguing it against those top two is.
Yeah.
Kind of impossible.
Now, after we've set our number ones, now we need to make the sequel to both movies, Heather's Ladder.
Heather's Ladder? Please?
Yeah.
Wait,
it's Heather's getting out of hell.
Hold on. Heather's Ladder?
That's Silent Hill 3.
Silent Hill 3. That exists. That's a thing that exists, dude.
I want to do it, though. We can get
do
Heather
that.
out of hell. So, big list right here. The Wiki Wild West.
Classic number one all the time. Every time.
Yeah.
iRobot.
Yeah.
Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunter.
Yep.
Top Secret.
Yes.
Moving on to bracket 2. We had Warcraft.
Yeah.
Everything is Illuminated.
Yes.
Oh, shit.
Green Room.
Yes.
And Sahara.
Yes.
And then the most recent bracket, we had in order Jacob's Ladder, Terminator, What We Do in the Shadows, and Heather's.
Wow, guys, I hate this.
I'm taking back my podcast, taking back the reins. Sam, you can go first on this
man,
one.
we did it.
Let's not break the inconsistency. This podcast.
We're worried about consistency now, Buckaroo.
For this specific episode, you've been going first every time, so now you have to go first.
Fine.
What's your favorite? Least favorite. Do whichever first.
Hey, we'll do least. Hey, we'll do least favorite. Middle is probably actually the hardest. Nah, it's really not. But hey, guess what? Still Hansel and Gretel. You guys gave me 4 good movies this time, so no adjustment needed to be made down in the bottom in the slums, in the trash can where this movie and Warcraft reside next to each other. And I think that's it so far that I just completely hated.
Did you hate Warcraft more than Wild Wild West?
Uh-huh.
Oh wow. Okay, I didn't remember.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Big time. time. I'd watch Wild Wild West again. Like Wild Wild West is stupid as shit, but if I had to choose between them, hey guys, everything is illuminated isn't at the top anymore because Jacob's Ladder is.
Holy shit! Really? That unseated it.
Yeah.
Big time. Big switch.
That's shocking,
dude. That movie, I've been thinking about. I legit kid you. I shit you not. Like a couple times a week since we watched it, and I've watched it twice now. Like it's just really good.
Hey.
Damn. All right.
Now, I need to say this. It does not keep that position for long, I don't think. But Jacob's Ladder is really fucking good.
It's got your brain space right now.
It does. It really does. You know how it has the exact opposite of Hansel and Gretel, where I keep thinking about Hansel and Gretel and it makes me angrier and I hate it more. This one I keep thinking about it, I'm like, wow, that's so smart, or what a good decision that was, or what cool like cinematography tricks, what good set design. It's just a bunch of little good things that pop into my head, and honestly all of the movies we watched this time have all of that, but that one, it lives rent free right now.
Nice.
Sam, now it's your turn.
Now it's my turn. Okay, so least favorite, I think it is still the Wiki Wiki Wild Wild West.
Not this week. Soon it won't be last.
I look forward to whatever you find to fill that void.
That'll be whenever we watch Neil Breen finally. I've been teasing it for years for you guys. So it'll happen one of these days.
It'll finally happen.
Next week.
Yeah, next week.
I think last time I said Top Secret because it is still the one that I could watch all the time. Big time. Yeah. I think Heather's beats Top Secret.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. And we had some good ones this time around too.
We did.
Yeah.
But we go back to what's just joyful enough I could watch it on repeat.
She does.
And I do. And what makes me think. And I sometimes just sit back and think about Heather's and try and come up with more thoughts about Heather's.
Yeah.
And I just love so much about it.
Yeah, that's fair.
She's got a PhD in Heather's.
Very closely. Yeah. I could though. I should start.
Dr. Gunther.
You could write a thesis on it.
Yeah, do a video essay on it.
I might. I'll be the Heather's professional Heather.
Do your creativity and upload it to this channel.
I'm a commodity.
Yeah.
This is the way.
No, I think that's where I sit still. You know, there are some really, really good ones, and there are some genuinely very good, thoughtful, smart movies. And I like my movies just a little bit dumber than that.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
I like a good dumb movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sarah was a great time.
Yeah.
We don't talk about the middleist of the pack, but
one of these days we'll talk about the middle.
Yeah.
Like I think we need one more batch of 4, and then we can sort of find the middleist movie.
Yeah.
All right, Jack.
Let me think.
What's your least?
I don't think my least favorite has changed either.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure it's still Hansel and Gretel.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to the club, brother.
I just want
Try to unseat me, guys.
Easily. I could do it easily. I've found movies I think I could do it with. Y'all motherfuckers ever watch Shark Tale?
I'm just saying, Jack and I have a basically a plot of land on
garbage. Yeah.
Renting it out though.
Yeah, Hansel, I'm comfortable saying that, locking that in.
Yeah.
Hansel and Gretel's probably the least favorite of all the ones we watched so far.
You got any brain space you want to dedicate to it, or just
not really? I just kind of want it. I still like some of the design in that movie. I still
the milk
think
cartons.
It's fun.
It's definitely the milk cartons.
Yeah, the milk cartons, not necessarily what I was thinking of. I was more thinking of like the costumes that are a bit fun.
Fair.
But milk cartons are good. And then, to no one's surprise, Jacob's Ladder is currently on my top. Also will probably, unfortunately, be unseated if we watch another movie that I'm thinking.
With robots in it?
Yeah, with robots in it.
Yeah.
But,
Robots starring Robin Williams coming 2 weeks from now.
Jacob's Ladder, just... great. I mean, we've said all to say about it right now. It's just very good. I don't really have anything other to add besides I love that movie and that people should go watch it. Actually, just a blanket statement, the past 4 episodes we made, everyone should go watch the movies.
Yeah, big time. These are all 4 fantastic movies that deserve to be watched.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, please with fucking Heathers, and well, actually, Jacob Ladder made its money back barely.
Yeah.
Heathers,
we made a big to do about that in the episode.
Go watch Heathers. Go support that. Go.
Mhm.
Not the TV show.
Not the TV show. Most people have probably already seen Terminator, but if you haven't, probably go watch that.
It's just
that little indie film, Terminator.
Yeah, it was at the time. That's the crazy thing. It kind of was at the time.
And What We Do in the Shadows is fucking hilarious.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, it's really funny.
Watch that, and it's got 2,000 Concords in it.
Go watch Flight of the Conchords.
Unofficially, our 5th watch.
Gosh, it's so good.
Let's go around.
To be fair, I did go and watch
It's really
Flight of the Conchords,
fucking
right
great.
the next day, literally the next day. Had a great time.
Yeah, Rachel.
What's up?
Bottom top.
I don't remember if the Wiki Wiki Wild Wild West or Warcraft was my bottom last time.
Warcraft was your bottom last time.
Was Warcraft my
Yes.
I
bottom?
thought
Yeah.
it was Wild Wild
No.
West.
Mm-mm.
I think it's because I oscillate between the two on a
That's
day-to-day basis.
Mhm.
Because there's some days where if
You wake up in the morning.
and Warcraft was on, I might put it on while I clean.
Mm-hmm.
But the same can be said for the Wiki Wiki Wild Wild West. I am gonna have to. I think I have come back around to saying Wiki Wiki Wild Wild West because it feels so infinitely longer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like Warcraft goes, it goes at a breakneck speed. Like you were gonna.
I would say it does. It's kind of all. It does.
It's so much.
going nowhere so fast.
So
It could go faster though. The movie could be over quicker.
It runs itself straight off the cliff.
Yeah.
And Warcraft has the added benefit of me being able to leave the room and then come back
Yeah,
at
it
the parts
doesn't
that I
matter.
actually like.
Yeah.
Wiki Wiki Wild Wild West, I was thinking about it. There's no point in which I would walk back into the room.
Not even for the job of Campbell Spider.
I would absolutely walk back in the room for that stupid spider.
No.
Definitely not that part.
Or
But
the
the-
part where
Guys, we gotta quit talking about Wild Wild West.
We have one bit.
It's in our contract, Jake. We have to at least.
I wrote your contract. It's not there.
You sure?
My top,
Pretty
though,
sure.
my top, and I don't.
It's the Santa Claus.
Yeah.
I don't
Sorry,
think
Rachel.
my top has changed. And granted, like, I don't know, no one go and listen to that episode because I don't remember what I decided in that moment. But this
Do
is,
listen to that episode.
Nope, please don't. I don't know. I've got to say, my top, it's a very thin line between first and second. But I think first is Everything is Illuminated.
It's so good.
Still fair.
it's fucking great.
Love that movie. It is gorgeous
It's
and
top
beautiful, and the level
Premium.
it is.
Premium movie.
It's gorgeous in the fact that it is so understated for most of it.
Yeah.
I love Jacob's Ladder, but it goes a little too much.
That's
And
fair.
spots.
It is the most
And-
subtle movie.
Yeah, and, well, it's so subtle, but it has such a beautiful message. It's got amazing cinematography. It's got amazing writing, but it is so. And I don't think understated is the word. I mean, it doesn't
Subdued?
need-
It's
it's
quiet.
subdued.
It's just a very quiet.
While
movie.
while still having so much power to it, and it still makes me want to cry. And Jacob's Ladder did not make me cry, and that's
Yeah.
you know.
That's fair. I mean, like,
Everything.
you're not going to get arguments from me
No, that's
about
totally
it.
fair.
It's like, yeah.
Not to say I still really like Jacob's Ladder, and it is second place for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And just barely so. And we may come in after 4 weeks and next month, and I may tell you an entirely different movie.
As is your right and your prerogative.
But yeah, for this moment, Everything is Illuminated is the one that you read off the list, and I went, I need to rewatch that. It was my immediate reaction.
Yeah,
that's fair.
It is a very beautiful movie.
It was like, I need to rewatch that, and also I need to buy it.
Yeah. Please support that movie. Did not make a lot of money. All right.
That's the rankings.
That's the rankings. That's the episode. We watched Heather's, and it was great.
Yeah.
We're talking about doing theme for the next 4, but we don't know about that yet, so I don't want to.
I have at least talked about doing an Oscar watch as like a mini.
We'd have to be quick.
We might be doing an Oscar
no,
watch.
Not even like the movies, just watching the Oscars.
Oh.
And doing something
Also
with it.
valid. I'm here.
All right, I'm down to watch the Oscars.
Okay.
We can
What we
record
talked
that.
about last time was just watching the Oscar, saying our walk-ins,
Yeah.
and then without having watched the
Blind
movies and
faith,
just
much like how they do the Oscars.
Yes,
you know,
much
I
like
decide
the
who will win.
Can we salty bet and bet with Monopoly money?
Yes.
Ooh, yes,
Cool.
please.
Sounds
Yes,
great.
please.
Excellent.
So
we've probably got
gonna
that.
try to do that.
We're going to try to do that.
Yeah.
No promises.
For everyone listening, for all 5 of you.
Hey, man, I love our 5 viewers who are
You're the
mostly our
best.
friends and family.
Yeah.
We do love them quite a bit.
I love them even more because of this.
I think my mom may autoplay it in the background.
I love
Friends
her
and
even more
family,
for
if
that.
you're listening to this and you want to win my affection, all of it, continue listening.
Spread it to people.
Yeah. But
Spread it like the filthy disease.
all right. And on that note, I think that we should sign off now. So I have been Jake.
I'm Sam.
I'm Jackson.
I guess I'm still Rachel.
And this has been We Might Be Critics. Thanks for listening.
Yeah.